Hi, it's Nim here. Today's theme, how to achieve an open crumb with a low protein dough. I used the stand mixer to knead the dough for 3-4 minutes, and I tipped it onto the bench top and folded it for a few minutes. It's like a slap and fold, but I'd like to name it as my version, gravity coil fold. It's like a coil fold, but I am using the gravity to do the job. I laminated the dough and I didn't do any stretch and fold or coil fold. The total time for the bulk fermentation this time was around 5 hours. I laminated the dough at 90 minutes mark. Then I left the dough untouched. I let it rise by 60%. I transferred the dough to the clear-sided and straight-walled container to monitor the rise. After I shaped it, I let it rest a little bit so that the seam became relaxed. That's when you can do the poke test. And I put it into the fridge overnight. I'm in Australia. I used Organic Unbleached Plain flour from Kialla Pure Foods. The protein content of the flour was only 10.5%. One of the important points. I reduced the amount of water to 70%. You need to adjust the hydration rate according to the flour. Even at 70% hydration, the crumb of the bread felt tender and moist. It was as good as, if not better, than high hydration sourdough made of stronger flour. Now, decorative scoring. I always put the dough into the freezer while I'm preheating the oven. So that's about 30 minutes. I'm drawing lines so that I can trace with the blade later. To get a good contrast, use rice flour. Also, don't put any ice cubes into the pan. The extra steam will get rid of the rice flour. I'm using pastry knife, but I'm using the back of the blade because I don't want to cut into the dough. To score, I flipped it so the blade side is touching the dough. I don't want to cut deeply. I'm just sort of scratching onto the dough surface. I like using this pastry knife because it's got a bit of weight to it, so I let the gravity do the job. Now, wheat stalk. So each stroke has to be close together, sort of overlapping. The key is to keep the even pressure. You can use a normal toothpick for this. I think it's such a cute detail. Now I'm cutting into the lines I made earlier. It's very tricky to keep the even depth. And it's very handy to have this turntable. Now, more detail with the scissors. Those dots will open up when the bread is baked. This is the main scoring part, also called functional scoring, because this is where you want the dough to open, and that's where oven spring will happen. This is where I have to cut deeper. I want to ensure this is where the bread springs from. I do not want the bread to open up from a random spot. So that's when the hack, the 5-minute scoring comes in. Depending on your oven, you take out the dough after 5 to 7 minutes and cut through where the main scoring is. I did it around 7 minutes. And this is after 20 minutes, mid-bake. Some parts of the dots are a little wonky. That's the spot the blade didn't go through evenly. I find this scoring design very tricky. I think I need to practice a bit more. But overall, it's a very pretty looking bread. I left it for a few hours before I slice. And I think I can call it a success. I wrote down all the details and recipe in the caption. Thanks for watching. This is Nim. Bye.